Hey everybody, welcome back to the first special edition of Think Business, the power of group coaching. What do you think about that? All right. So I'm looking forward to this, fellas, because you guys know I'm a business coach, and I want to talk a little bit about the journey that got this kind of the four of us together here. Because this is, I think, going to be a ton of fun and really value-packed and educational for anybody who is listening. As a business coach with COVID, last December, I started a live coaching group. We meet once a week live, and then it's all driven off of a private Facebook group that gets updated every day. And it's been great, and it's been a great networking opportunity for the people that join. And it's been great for people to grow their businesses who can chime in every week. And the model was set because there was a model I felt that a one-to-many model that was affordable by all was needed in a current and post-COVID world. And through our individual conversations, as I was sharing some of this with each of you, we individually kind of came up that, hey, this model works. This model makes sense. And so Randy and I were on a podcast that we were doing on mindset one day, and the guy didn't show up. So we thought, wait, how great would it be as Randy is an estate attorney? And how great would it be if we did one for attorneys, right? We did a coaching for attorneys. And then I was talking to Simon, and Simon said, hey, well, what if we do one for residential realtors? And then Jeff and you and I were talking about it. We said, hey, what if we do one that focuses on the newer entrepreneur? And hence came about three additional groups that we're launching. Jeff and I, business builders. Simon and I is called Due Diligence, and Randy and I is called Elevate, Elevate You, which is focused on attorneys, residential realtors, and entrepreneurs. And so what a better way, we all kind of then collectively thought this model of one-to-many, something that can fit into everybody's budget. And a great way to promote it would be via a podcast where we're all just talking shop in business. So I welcome you guys, and I appreciate the journey that's been kind of 4 months in the making as we sit here together. And I'm excited to do this with all of you. I'll kind of kick off by, opening up the floor and talking about, what you guys see as far as just leaders and business owners and people who have been training people for a long time. What do you see? What do you see as far as the power of one-to-many learning? Jeff, maybe I'll start with you.
Well, I mean, first of all, entrepreneurship by nature is kind of a lonely game. You're out there on your own, you're making decisions every day, you're hoping you're doing the right thing, you're isolated, even more so now, maybe working from home and so on. And I think the opportunity to, first of all, get mentorship, get coaching from guys who have done it, been there, that can bring real value. It's just a critical aspect of having a shot at success with whatever it is that you're doing. So I think coaching's critical, but coaching can be expensive. And so, one-to-many gives people an opportunity to be able to afford access to that critical guidance, that opportunity when you're in a group to hear the questions that your peers might ask. What is everyone else thinking about? Am I the only one worried about this? Am I the only one wondering about this or needing this or that, whatever it may be? And being in a group setting, provides affirmation and validation that you're not alone. The issues are not just yours; they're everybody's. And to hear the answers to the common questions that all entrepreneurs face. So,
yeah, and I think I love everything that you just said. But I think, because this is kind of our kickoff together, Jeff, take a minute and just tell everybody about StartupNation. Right. Sure. I think we'll do this and then we'll kind of do it each person, because I think it's important. I mean, I've known you, I'm going to be 49 this year. I've known you since I was 23 in my internet days. Okay. I've been watching your entrepreneurial journey for, 20 plus years and all the incredible things that you've been doing. But tell a little bit about StartupNation, because, you and I are doing one that is, you and I are doing the Business Builders, which is going to be focused on that entrepreneur who's defined exactly how you're talking about.
Yeah, I have indeed lived a life of being an entrepreneur, never receiving a paycheck from any entity that I didn't have a hand in crafting. So I've been there in the good times and the bad times, been through it all, good and bad. And, I'm very familiar with the challenges and very familiar with the rewards. And so as a result of, at least on the reward side, we wanted to evangelize and advocate for more people choosing the entrepreneurial path, whether it be part-time or full-time. And StartupNation is our vehicle to be able to do that. We provide content on the website that's really invaluable, sourced from a variety of experts from around the world, really, on all the subject matter that entrepreneurs typically have. And we hope to provide answers and a little inspiration through storytelling of other entrepreneurs who've had success and maybe challenges too, on the website. And then we, of course, have a series of audio products. We do a radio show and now getting into video quite heavily. But the idea behind StartupNation is to provide that dose of inspiration and information to equip and empower entrepreneurs to go from dreaming to doing, and giving them all the resources they need and all the access they need to the critical information on how to do it right.
Yeah, I love it. Well, I can't wait to launch this private coaching group with you for business builders, with that type of group, and coach these people every week with you. It's going to be a blast.
It's great to be with you, John. I've watched your career too. Amazing.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, brother. All right. Simon Thomas, CEO of DOBI Real Estate, right? Simon, talk a little bit about, you and I are focused on a one-to-many for residential realtors, which I'm excited about. It's called due diligence. Talk a little bit about, what you see in the one-to-many learning, and because I think you've had a front row seat to that as well, but also, and then a little bit about DOBI Real Estate.
Well, thank you for having, for putting this together and having us on. But, this idea came about when you and I were talking, John, about, the coaching side of it. You mentioned, it's expensive to do one-on-one coaching, and you have this vision to provide a service for a much lower cost. And because of COVID, this made things a little bit more, made it possible. So I really thought, man, that would be amazing for new agents. I mean, new agents starting off their business, there's a lot of great agents out there that just don't have the resources, the people around them. They're either at, the wrong brokerage or somewhere that doesn't kind of educate them on how to get to the next level. And there's not really a blueprint to it. It's more of a directness, and it's really, really hard, where for DOBI, once you get past that 3, 4, 5 million mark, you kind of in sales, you kind of understand the business. So like, those guys need help. Everybody needs mentorship. Everybody needs coaching, all different levels. But if you can help somebody get past that threshold, their business really starts taking a life of its own, and then they can go beyond and keep going. So I've always really liked the new agent, because they get into this business thinking it's going to be great, it's going to be amazing, and I'm going to go sell 5, 6, 7, 8 homes a year and make an extra 50 to 100 grand a year on the side. It's going to be great. And it's the exact opposite. It's 6 months with no paycheck. It's, a couple $1,000s in your first year to 35,000. It's a really tough market. The market right now is crazy. If you're getting in right now, it's kind of brutal because of the lack of inventory. So, I relate what I do a lot to personal fitness when it comes to like coaching and mentoring in the sales side. And I think agents need to be spoke to that way. Like, agents will walk into my office and they'll say, or into our office and say, I want to do 3 million in my first year. It's like, okay, do you really understand what this is going to take? Like, how are you going to help me get there? Or how are you going to do it, for me? And a lot of brokerages are like, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and it's going to be great. And DOBI's approach is the exact opposite. It's going, listen, you got to meet us in the middle. We're going to coach, we're going to show you, we're going to tell you what you should be doing from day one. But you need to go out and do it. So, you don't join a Lifetime Fitness and say, all right, now lose me 50 pounds. No, you have to eat right. You have to use the equipment, and it's up to you. It's not up to us. And a lot of agents who don't have it, meaning like they just don't get it. They point their fingers at brokerages and they're like, well, they're not really doing it for me, so I'm going to move. And you see them go to, multiple brokerages. It has nothing to do with the brokerage. It has nothing to do with the comp plan. It has everything to do with you. So at the end of the day, like what you do need out of a broker is somebody telling you that. And a lot of times, the agents who really appreciate it are the ones who've been to 2 or 3 locations before coming to us. So DOBI is a residential brokerage firm. We have 70 agents here. A lot of the stuff Jeff is talking about is what we do here, but in residential real estate, agents are their own bosses. They're 100% commission. It's a grind. It's tough. The strongest survives. And it's really just identifying and helping them figure out a blueprint and a business model so they can go out and be successful in this business.
Yeah. I love everything that you're talking about. The themes are so consistent with what Jeff talked about and what you're talking about too. It's like, within that model, sometimes people feel like they are, like Jeff, you were saying, the only one. It is hard when there's no blueprint, because even when there is a blueprint, it still has to be customized to the individual. And you got to go out and do it. And it is a grind and a hustle that everybody, I'm a big believer, needs that continual extra support. So I love it. And Jeff, what you said earlier, which I agree, the power of group coaching is somebody asks a question and it always applies to the majority of people who are actually in the room. And they can apply it to so many things. So it's great. So Simon, I can't wait to, dive in and do due diligence with you. The private coaching group. And then Randy, you and I were talking and we thought, hey, you know what? Attorneys typically aren't getting coaches, right? But they need them. And so talk a little bit about, what you believe the one-to-many model is, and then a little bit about Denha and Associates.
Yeah, thank you guys. I resonate well with everything each of you have said. I've been doing practicing law for the last 24 years, hard to believe 25 years. And I remember at my old law firm, I was at a large firm right out of law school for the first 13 years of my career. I was always able to produce business. I wasn't always confident in myself because I was still young. Now I would showcase myself to be an expert, but deep down in isolation, I was always questioning myself. Am I doing this right? Is this client, going to get the best service? And I'd always want to make sure that I was better than I was yesterday. But that took diligence, it took discipline, and it took determination. And that's something that, I hope to share with, people that are part of our program. We talk about expense, we talk about COVID and isolation, and we talk about value. But, the way Simon, you use the example of physical fitness and a gym. I use the example of Costco. What do I mean by that? It's a lot cheaper to go to Costco and buy that case of paper towel or water and split it than it would be to go into one of these specialty grocery stores and pay 10 times more money for that same bottle or that same product. So we can go in bulk and provide one-on-one to many at a much lower cost. And that value really is enhanced by sort of that groupthink, by all of us collectively together in each of our private programs, really sharing ideas and thoughts and kickstarting new ideas. But one thing that I believe each of us has is likability and relatability. That's one thing I see. Like Jeff, when I see you, you're always smiling, right? Same thing with Simon, although he hides a little bit more, but I know deep down, big teddy bear. At the end of the day, we have this relatability and likability. And to me, this resonates well with a lot of people that are going to want to know our secret sauce. And it really isn't a secret, right? It's hard work. It's getting up every day and leaning in.
Yeah.
And always being confident with what you know, because I always believe in knowing your craft better than your competition or as well as your competition, because the last thing you want is any one of us to go in and have a customer or a client learn something from somebody else when they should have learned it from you first. So I'm a big believer, for example, in my blog, I write first of the month, every month since I opened up my practice, I don't miss. Even during COVID, I was still authoring articles. That's what I want to showcase to people that are part of our program, that you can do it. I'm nothing different than anybody else, but I was always able to generate work, and Elevate is there to elevate you.
Yeah.
And really bring you into the fold of this to increase revenue and get you to where you want to be.
You know what I love is I'm just sitting listening to everybody talk. One of the things I think is pretty cool about what we're doing is here we are promoting 3 individual private coaching groups and collaborating to actually do it, right? And so it's not about competition, it's about collaborating and all coming together and saying, hey, we're here to do something that's in the best interest of anybody who needs it, if this resonates with somebody. And I think what's also kind of great about this is, for me, each of you have been mentors in many ways in my life. I continually learn from each of you. And I think, when there's a platform where you have 2 coaches who are there per private group to help educate and grow everybody else who are also learning from each other, that recipe is great. That recipe is, I think, a great recipe for people. Let's zoom out for a second and just talk about, some of the things that, we're going to be, doing in these groups, business planning, role playing, how to run your day, how to look at social media, how to interact with your people, how to lead a team, how to be a more effective communicator, how to, the topics are endless and are going to change every single week. I know in mine that I've been doing since December, the topics kind of morph depending on where the group is, and they almost kind of help lead the way of what those agendas are. But I think it's important also to kind of maybe showcase kind of a flow of what people can expect. Every Wednesday on a private Facebook group, depending on what group people are going to be in, there's going to be an agenda that goes out so people understand and can mentally prepare for the upcoming week's agenda or whatever that particular day is. Everything's going to be on a Facebook group on demand. So if you miss a live coaching, it'll be on the Facebook page. The networking opportunities amongst peers is going to be there, and in communication amongst the Facebook group is encouraged, and content will be updated on a consistent basis in the private Facebook groups for people, whether it's for mine, anytime I find an article or a piece of software or an app, I'm always posting it in the page to give people real-time tools to really kind of utilize. So, if we just kind of zoom out, let's talk a little bit about a universal issue of just planning, right? Because that's going to be a big theme of what we all talk about. It amazes me that many people are just not good planners, right? And there's many tentacles of that. But, talk about maybe the importance of consistency, of planning your days. Simon, any thoughts on that?
So yeah, I mean, I've been in sales for the last 10 years, and last 2.5 years I've been on the brokerage side. So more running a company versus out day-to-day selling, but it's very, very similar. You couldn't plan. For me, I could never plan my day, because if I planned my day, something would come across my desk, a sale, the market's hot, I had to hurry up and get to this showing, somebody wanted to see something, I wasn't expecting it. My calendar was always, a day to 2 days out. If you look past that, it was empty, but the day of, it was full, because the day before I just, my phone was always ringing. And for me, it was more bullet points. There was things in a day that I could not miss. So I don't care. You get a lot of people. How did you plan your day? I get that question a lot, and it's like, it does. I could say I'm going to work out every single day at 8 o'clock. I could say in the morning. I could say this. I could say at noon I'm going to eat lunch. But what happens when you don't hit that mark because you're doing a deal or a meeting goes wrong or long or whatever? What are you gonna do? Not do it? So my thing was I had my 5-6 things that I never missed. And now throughout the day, I had my things that I love doing in the morning. And the busier I got, the earlier I woke up. So I just knew, like, I used to start it at 8 o'clock. Well, I got to the point where I was so busy, I was waking up at 5 a.m. And I do that now. And now it's like, I whack out my 20 to 45 minutes of things that I like to do before everyone's up, because I have to. So for me, it's just bullet points. If I'm supposed to do something, I have to get it done in that day before I go home. And I wasn't always very good at, and everyone's different. There's people who need that structure. That wasn't me. I'm more of a visionary. I'm more of a salesperson. So it just didn't work for me. And I struggled with that in the beginning. I thought that to be successful, I had to be like that, because I knew people that were like that, very regimented. And I thought, well, to do that, to make money, that's what I have to do. And when I switched the mindset, it's like, no, what makes sense for me is how I'm going to be successful. And what made me switch that mindset was talking to more people. And that's why, like, I was surrounded by 2 or 3 successful people, and I knew what they did. But when I started talking to more successful people and realized, everyone's different. So let's just do it. Let's do it the way I need to do it to be happy and successful. And I found bullet points, things that I can't miss, that I have to get done before I go home, was the best way for me.
Yeah, that's so important. I love what you're talking about. And I know, having gone through that and figuring out what's right for you, now how to teach other people on how to do what's right for them. Because one size doesn't fit all. And I love what you're talking about. And a lot of times people need to hear that, especially from people who, like you, Simon, you started a company, you're an entrepreneur, your business is thriving. It's kind of like, oh, there's probably people listening to say, oh, I want to learn how he does it, because that's how my brain works. And, so I think that's great. Jeff, how about you?
Yeah, I think I share a lot of the perspectives, that Simon just mentioned. I think planning, first of all, entrepreneurs have to understand time is their most valuable resource. And I am always concerned about and focused on not wasting my time. That's for sure. Now, you need to plan time for work, and you need to plan time for fun and enjoyment and pleasure and all the rest. And those two things, you got to strike that right balance. But in the category of work, you have to work really, really efficiently and really productively. You can't waste time. And so to do that, if it works best for you to have some sort of calendaring thing and chunk out your time by the hour, half hour, 15 minutes, whatever you want to do it, I think, the point was made. It's an individual thing, and that's great. But I think more important than even whichever way you choose to handle all of that, it's really critical that you wake up every day with kind of a sense of what you want to achieve that day. That's the most critical thing. And Simon, you mentioned the bullet points. That's kind of where I am. I make a list of things. I want to finish my day, and I want to have achieved, or at least given my best shot at achieving these most critical things in order to move the needle, move the ball down the field, whatever metaphor you want to use. Tomorrow when I wake up, I want to be this much further down the field because I accomplished these things today, rather than getting up and being reactive, and just dealing with whatever comes your way, or waking up and say, I'm going to work, and then finding out, or feeling or getting a sense of, maybe I'll do this today, whatever. And I know, most people aren't quite like that, as extreme as that, but you really need to make this a discipline. You need to really focus on making your days as productive as you can. And so set those key objectives that you want to achieve every day. And I think that's the best advice I can give on that.
Yeah, I love what you're talking about. I just want to kind of, zoom out and just make a comment on this, because I think people don't think about this. As you're talking about being efficient and effective with your time, I think we all kind of share that on this call. And, if you look at your day, if you can save 4 minutes a day, that's 24 hours a year, right?
That's amazing.
It's amazing, right? So people don't think about it. The average person wastes 80 hours a year looking for things they've lost, of which the majority is their wallet and their keys. So if you put your wallet and your keys in the exact same spot every day, you're going to save 80 hours. So there on this call, if someone listening, they've just saved 104 hours of time, right? And so it's the small things. To your point, Jeff, it's like being effective and being ready to know what you're going to conquer for the day, to be hyper focused. I was just on the phone with a client, and we were talking about end your day prepping for the next day. So you wake up feeling ahead of it, not behind it.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Randy, how about you?
Well, there's an old adage I think all of us subscribe to is if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right?
Yeah.
So, no different than the world of estate planning. But, I believe, similar to Simon and Jeff, sometimes you simply can't plan your day. But John, my schedule. I'm an early riser, and that was born from having 4 kids, a busy home life, a busy work life, and simply needing to fit it in. So I am an absolute creature of habit. Same time, same place, I'm at the gym, right? Mm-hmm. I eat the same time. I have my, everything is regimen for me. There are some things I will not deviate from. Like no matter what, I won't take away time from, let's say, the family. I won't schedule meetings at certain times. I drive my kids to school in the morning. There are some things that I don't care how much money I can make, I will not deviate from that because that's important to me. So I think priority is really important and perspective. And that's something that I feel, many more people, especially in the entrepreneurial world, need to, really be comfortable, espousing. Don't be afraid of that. And, Jeff, as you know, not everyone's an entrepreneur, right? Maybe many people aspire to be, but at least in the world of law, many people, when they come out of law school, if they're able to, get those coveted jobs at the big law firms, they're going to take it. But as you'll soon learn, you're an employee. You cannot go left or right without them telling you which way you're going to go. You can't invest in certain things without them authorizing it. So, I think once they get their wings, they then realize the power of everything we're sharing.
Yeah.
And that's, we need to get, we need to build those wings and build those landers. So when they do land, they're comfortable. And again, that's my hope.
I love it. And so as we kind of come to an end, I just want to kind of highlight a couple things. These group coaching models, right? These individual ones that we're doing, I just want to kind of highlight that a lot of the stuff we talked about today are topics and things that we're going to dive deep into for people to learn. And the way that these are going to be set up are weekly live coaching sessions. One is going to be with Jeff Sloan and I called Business Builders. One is going to, and those are going to be for entrepreneurs, new entrepreneurs. Simon Thomas and I for due diligence, which are kind of that 0 to 3 year residential agent. And then Randy Denha and I for Elevate You, which is focused on attorneys. And a lot of the topics that we're talking about today, we're going to be doing live coaching every single week. And again, on a private Facebook page. So if you miss it, it's going to be on demand, and it's going to be value packed, and it's going to give people, I think, a lot of the stuff we're talking about today is so simple, it's complicated. And that's the beauty of coaching. And I think that's the beauty of one-to-many coaching, because sometimes people complicate things. And what I know is going to happen is we're going to make the complicated simple for people to implement it into their days and weeks. The investment of each group, right? You only have to join one. You can join all if you want. Is $100 per month, which is I think a very fair investment. And I think people are going to get a lot out of it. And so if you want to learn more about it, these will be launching in May. You can go to they're all currently sitting on my website right now, johndwoskin.com. Just go to group coaching and you'll see this page right here and just sign up, or you can call any one of us individually. And I appreciate it. I can't wait, guys. I think this is really, really exciting. The goal is to just help as many people as we can continually grow, to grow their business. There is a quick question that somebody just came in. Hi guys, I'm not sure if you're taking questions, but I was wondering if it's recommended to set more than 3 key points per day, or is it an individual preference? Simon, I think this is coming off of you from your 7 points. So maybe I'll give you the floor on that one. Thanks, Andrea, for asking.
Yeah, I think it's what you can handle. At the end of the day, if you too many isn't good, and not enough isn't good. So it's again, like you don't want to set yourself up for disappointment where you have 22 bullet points you got to hit in a day and you're only getting to half, and now you're stressing all day. Like my thing was, what are start small and build yourself up. Like 90-day increments, create habit, like start with 3 or 4 things that you're going to do every single day to change your business, to move the needle, and then create those habits and add 1 or 2 every quarter. And by the end of the year, you're up to, 12 things, I'm in the beginning, what takes me 15 minutes today might have in the beginning took me an hour. So I just got better at it. Like writing purchase agreements to me was an hour to 2 hour process when I first got in the business. I can do them in 12 minutes now. I can run, market analysis on homes in a matter of seconds versus, couple minutes versus 2 hours. So I think just start with a couple things. I mean, and mix them up. My thing, mastering your craft. I think Randy said that is very important. So whether it's reading 20 minutes, I hate reading. I'm not a good reader. I learned to really enjoy it and love it over time, but I'm starting off with 10 minutes a day. I'm up to now an hour. So I think you just gotta figure it out and whatever's best for you, but don't waste those bullet points are important. They have to move the needle in some way. They have to make you a better person, a better business person, some way.
Yeah. I'll kind of add on to one thing you said, which is you got to do what's right for you. My recommendation would be lower the bar to be consistent every day. Like, don't do something of what you think everybody wants you to do or what you think you need to do. Do something where you can be consistent every day, and then pick that number and then subtract 1, because most people will still overshoot for themselves. And there is an element of, sanity that you need to keep, and consistency is the key, way over a list of, 10 things. And then you're burnt out by the end of the week. You gotta just do what is right, push yourself to your edge, but not over your edge. Any thoughts, guys?
I think that's great advice.
Right.
You want success. I mean, to build confidence, to build, just passion and enjoyment for what you're doing. You need to feel like you're accomplishing your goals. And if you set the bar too high, as you guys have said, you're going to go to bed saying, you're going to recognize what you didn't get done today and focus on that as opposed to what you did, feeling good about what you did.
Correct.
That's great advice.
Right. End the day feeling awesome. Guys, I can't wait. I can't wait to launch these with you, to work with the people that are in these groups, to work with you, to learn from you, and really to also learn from everybody who's ultimately also coming into the groups. It's going to be, I think, an amazing experience, and I'm honored to launch these with you guys, and can't wait to see where these grow. We're going to be doing these podcasts every 2 weeks, and we're going to have different topics. And we're just going to kind of talk shop a little bit about, what people can use. So whether they join the group or not, they're still going to get value out of these groups. And again, if anybody wants to learn more about these, they just have to go to johnswaskin.com, click on group coaching, sign up, and we'll get you all the information as we launch these private coaching groups over the next couple weeks. Fellas, before we end, Randy, any closing thoughts?
Well, price is only an issue in the absence of value. And I believe we promise you a lot of value. Again, you talked about $100 a month. That's, $25 a week, or $12.50 per, coach. So, for me, that as much as we're going to be helping, we're going to be helped. I know I'm going to learn a lot more than, I'm sharing. And I look forward to that.
Good. Simon, any last thoughts?
No, Randy just said it best. I mean, I never had access to something like this, starting my business, and I have a long way to go. So I'm looking forward to tapping into these types of things moving forward. And every time if I wanted to collaborate or meet with somebody, I either had to physically go and meet new people, and that took time, or find a mentor, or rely on a $400 or $500 personal training session every time. And that's exhausting in the beginning. It's almost impossible in the beginning. And that's why I really like that that $0 to $3 million agent, because they don't have the resources that a $5-6 million agent has. When you're making six figures, you have the money to try things, lose money, invest in things, and stay on your feet and feed your family and make your mortgage payments. That 0 to 3 is the one that after 2 or 3 years you get out of the business, and they could be great if they tap into the right things. And you cannot be looking at, this is such a very little investment that, you talk about $1,200 in a year. If it's one deal or one, sale, it could mean 10,000, 20,000. It's that one little nugget you might pick up that changes your whole business.
Yeah, I love it. Jeff Sloan, take us home.
Yeah, no, I think Randy said it so well. Value. That's really the key thing. And, I hold myself to a really high standard. I know everybody that does here that's in our group, our coaches here, we want to bring great value. And really to do that, we want to see results. And the results come from helping people get over hurdles, helping people get directed and get in a positive direction with trajectory and, get on that path to success. I mean, that feels really good. That's so fulfilling and so rewarding to think about. And I want to be part of that. And I want to feel the action. I want to know we're accomplishing something and helping people get on with making their dreams happen. How exciting is that? What a great privilege, guys. It's amazing.
Yeah. Great. To me, it starts with intent, and the intent of all of this happened completely organically. The conversations of us all individually to get to this all happened completely out of nowhere. It wasn't even, there was no plan. It just happened. It made sense. It was an alignment, and it happened, and it just rolled itself out, which tells me it's so in alignment. And so I'm grateful for it. And I think for everybody, to go into coaching, I just want to end with this. Whether you're doing one-on-one coaching, whether you're doing group coaching, you got to commit to yourself to show up, and you got to commit. Simon, so you said something earlier to this. You got to commit to do the work outside of the coaching. And so it's important because it works, but you got to do the work. And so I can't wait to launch this. If anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to any of us. If this person you reach out to, the group isn't for you, but the different group is, they will tell you. We're all about getting people in the right coaching group to watch you soar. Fellas, I appreciate you all. Thanks everybody for listening, and stay on the line, guys. Thanks everybody.
Thank you.